let me ask you this first and foremost. When you hear the words "the music business," what is the first thought that come to your mind?
Corrupt. Corrupt.
Wow. To say corrupt, you must be pulling from something. What's the first image that pops in your brain when you say the words corrupt?
Jay-Z, TV, her name was Jennifer Vineyard, and she worked for MTV News. She told me, she was like, if you can get, Rihanna was completely unknown. She was like, if you can get a quote from Jay-Z, then we'll run the story. So I was like, I even told her, I was like, yeah, no problem. I talked to this guy about everything. He had been the head of Def Jam. For not too long, right? So I figured he would easily give us a quote. And, he completely snowballed. He snowballed me. He wouldn't give us a quote about Rihanna. He wouldn't do anything, for her in the beginning. So, being around so many people in the industry who've experienced the same thing, it's just, and honestly, he needs to be in prison, but.
Y'all, let me spill this piping hot tea about Rihanna's former publicist, Jonathan Hay, who's absolutely going off on Jay-Z. He's not just throwing shade, he's throwing the whole tree, calling Jay-Z corrupt and suggesting he deserves jail time. But here's what's making everyone's head spin. Is this just because Jay-Z wouldn't give a simple quote to promote Rihanna? Or is there something much, much deeper lurking beneath the surface? Let's be real, darlings. Refusing to give a quote isn't nearly enough reason for someone to make such explosive statements. Jonathan must be sitting on some serious tea, and let's not forget this crucial detail. He was practically part of the inner sanctum at Def Jam. The plot thickens because even before Jonathan started spilling all this tea, fans were already raising eyebrows about Rihanna's experiences with Jay-Z. And trust me, what I'm about to share will leave you absolutely shook. It might even explain why Rihanna mysteriously stepped away from music when she was absolutely dominating the industry. Here's the initial tea. During a recent podcast interview, Jonathan revealed he simply tried to get a quote from Jay-Z about Rihanna, who was just starting to make waves in the industry. His intentions seemed pure. He wanted to promote her career, which would have benefited everyone involved. But Jay-Z, he gave Jonathan the coldest of shoulders. Now, some people are reading between the lines, suggesting this was Jay-Z's calculated move to maintain ironclad control over Rihanna's narrative in the music industry. Others are whispering even darker theories, that Jay-Z wanted certain favors before offering any help. And honey, when you hear what people have uncovered about Jay-Z and Rihanna's history, these claims start looking frighteningly legitimate. But wait until you hear this shocking detail about how Rihanna got signed. People are absolutely losing it over Jay-Z's alleged ultimatum during her audition. He supposedly told her she'd either walk out with a signed deal or through the window from the 29th floor. Can you even believe the audacity?
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you.
A really good audition.
And what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh yeah, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he said it one word.
I did a lot of homework on you this lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
Now hold up, because this isn't just about Rihanna anymore. We're talking about a grown man allegedly threatening a 16-year-old girl who was just trying to share her talent with the world, suggesting she'd be thrown from the 29th floor. I don't care if it was meant as a joke. It's absolutely horrifying. Social media is on fire about this, with users pointing out just how messed up this situation was. One person hit the nail on the head saying, "That's actually really effed up, she was 15 or 16. But wait, it gets even more disturbing. Apparently, this same 16-year-old Rihanna wasn't allowed to leave the studio that day and was kept there until 3 a.m. I mean, seriously? Who does that to a teenager?
Did you come in contact with her? I mean, did you fly over there?
No, Jay Brown had actually bought me the song. She has a song right now that's I wouldn't say massive because of her rules. When I first heard the song, and then, he kept going, Jay Brown, he kept being persistent. I was like, you know what, bring her by. Mm-hmm. And when she walked into our office, I was like, you know, she just had, it was just something about her. It was just, she had this, you know, it was just something about her. And then she performed the song, and I was like, okay, okay. Then, you know, we sat down and we talked, and they was talking about how she would stay in the studio and try to get the verse over, and then come back the next day. I was like, oh, work ethic, everything is there. So we signed her that night. We didn't let her leave the office.
Really?
To 3 in the morning.
Now, do you see why everyone's giving Jay-Z the side eye? The fact that Rihanna was just 16 when all this went down is majorly concerning, especially when you consider the whispers about his alleged pattern with underage girls, including Aaliyah, Foxy Brown, and yes, even Beyonce. And let's not forget about that alleged secret son who came forward, claiming Jay-Z got his mother pregnant when she was just 16. But let's circle back to what Jonathan spilled about Rihanna, because this tea is scalding. Remember that bombshell about Jay-Z and Beyonce splitting up for about a year? Word on the street was that after signing Rihanna in 2005, Jay-Z allegedly tried to make her his side piece while he was still with Beyonce. According to sources, Beyonce didn't know what to make of this, and it actually ended up breaking them up for a time. They spent maybe a year apart from each other because Beyonce just wasn't sure of what to make of the situation with Rihanna. Now, technically, Jonathan Hay later claimed he made up that story to promote Rihanna, but honey, people aren't buying it. They're convinced Jay-Z pressured Jonathan to backtrack. And the evidence? It's piling up. Like, why haven't Beyonce and Rihanna ever collaborated despite being on the same label? The rumors suggest it's all because of that alleged affair. Things got even spicier when Rihanna allegedly tweeted, "Since we spilling tea, Beyonce F your husband, boom." Can you imagine the chaos that caused? Lord, I hope Beyonce was sitting down when she saw that. The plot thickens with Jay-Z's album 444, especially in that title track where he basically confessed to cheating. Remember those emotional lyrics? Look, I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born, see through a woman's eyes. And that gut-wrenching ending. And if my children knew, I don't even know what I would do if they ain't look at me the same. People are convinced he was talking about Rihanna. But wait, there's more. Remember that infamous fight between Chris Brown and Rihanna after the pre-Grammy party? Internet sleuths are connecting some shocking dots, claiming the fight was about herpes, allegedly passed from Jay-Z to Rihanna to Chris. Now, while that's a different narrative entirely, it's adding fuel to what Jonathan Hay seems to be hinting at. People are putting it all together, suggesting Jay-Z's refusal to give Jonathan that quote wasn't just about being difficult, it was about wanting something in return from Rihanna. And honey, most folks aren't buying that this was a one-time thing. The whispers suggest Rihanna had to do some questionable things to advance her career. And some think this might be why she stepped away from music despite being at her peak. The internet is buzzing with comments like, makes you wonder why she remotely doesn't want to sing anymore, and makes sense why she doesn't involve herself with them as well. She made business, so she don't got to sing no more. So what do you think? Did Rihanna really stop singing because of all this alleged drama? Is Jonathan Hay trying to expose what really went down before Rihanna became famous? The tea is hot, the plot is thick, and the questions just keep coming.